Hi everyone, today I will present my full paper entitled Cultural Activities as Psychopathological Therapy, a case study of performance art of Plunturan villagers in Pulung, Ponorogo, written by my lecturer, Mr. Agung Prasaja, and me, Kalista Alda, also my friend Chitra Ayu Larasati. So, what is this topic about? This research tried to observe the history in Plunturan village that depicted in the performance art, in the creation and elaboration of their works. Also include their emotional elements that they bring out in their performances. And from this, it's to help us to understand the relationship between their life path and their artistic expression. So in the first part, we try to collect the materials to analyze the relationship and personal production of the performers. Furthermore, in the second, we try to discuss the performing arts as a ritual process that changes experience described in Alcazar theory in 2015. Also, initially, we framed the psychology of performing art in historical context, including the relationship between the sports psychology and the performance psychology. The first documented psychotherapy encounter between the performing arts and the psychotherapists. Also, it's certain themes that continue in the process of the psychotherapist's work about early adoption, skepticism, and about medication. And also the treatment outside the consulting room and focus on pathology, all the resonance in exploring the psychological aspect of the performing art. I will tell about what is psychoanalysis. So psychoanalysis is a type of a therapy that aims to release pent-up or suppress the emotions and memories to lead up the client to catharsis or healing. And in other words, the purpose of psychoanalysis is to bring what is the subconscious and to the level of consciousness. The next is the method. So we use the ethnographic method psychoanalysis that is very important tool in qualitative methods in social science. Why? Because the psychoanalysis is categorized as a set of qualitative methods used in the social science that emphasize the observation of social practices and interactions. Also, the purpose of psychoanalytic research in performing arts is to observe the unique situations and the phenomena without imposing a generally accepted structure on the phenomena that take place in them. Has three results. So the first is Plunturan village artworks as the result of the intermixture between the mind and the history. And the second is mind ritual and purification in the performing arts of villagers. And the third is the metamorphosis of Plunturan village performing art, artists, and the audience. So we divided in that three parts. So the first is Plunturan village artworks as the result of intermixture between mind and the history. So during the Ponorogo War, the Plunturan village was still a wilderness. A forest is a representation of a human subconscious which consists of various kinds of unorganized conditions. This means that wilderness is the same as human subconsciousness, which can be described as a random pile of human memories, observation, and experiences. The second is the essence of the artworks in Plunturan generally involve discipline, pain, sacrifice, rules, and restrictions on the body and the mind. It happened due to the federalisms in Plunturan history. In the existing world of the art, the authority of the leader who frees himself from the powerful figure of the orderly society by representing an aesthetic that represents his attempt to exist as himself, such as toughness, strength, and ferocity. Symbol that related to the spiritual mind based on Kyo Satria's views. Satria's views. What is this about? So, let me explain to you. Mental and physical health are the main asset in all and almost all the arts in Plunturan village. In the works of art in the village, there are so many symbols that related in the spiritual and the soul cultivations, like the example if one of the Prince Diponegoro followers Kiai Satriaman viewed that performing art can be a tool for greater and more intense expressions, which can conclude ways to relieve autobiographical trauma.
Okay, so I'm Citra Larasandi. I will be the one who explain our next slide. The value of closeness in performing arts in Plunturan village. The performing art artists in this village generally let us to questions of how close life must be. It is represented through 3 performing arts icons in Plunturan village, namely Reog, Ponorogo dance, and Kana Sawandana dance. These dances rely on close relationships and mutual trust, resulting in very impulsive and harmonious movements. For example, in Ponorogo dance, this mass dance is positioned on both of the arena entrance, which is symbolized as a wide condition. The players look at each other, forcing the public to slip past the stocky bodies to access the room. This performance only takes place as the beginning of a whole series of art performance that can last up to 4 to 5 hours. The players consisting of Warok and Warakwati face each other with hand grips, ropes, pinham, and all black clothes and dynamic movements between them. This work, like several other shows, they perform together, relies on their close and trusting relationship, creating a very impulsive yet harmonious movement. For the next slide, we will talk about our second research result, which is Plunturan village artworks as a result of intermixture between mind and history. In this result, we found 4 intermixture between mind and history. The relationships between the performing arts and the audience is very important. The way the performance express themselves in their works finally engage the audience through empathy, identifications, voyeurism, or even a certain level of sadism. When in some work of art that are displayed, it spreads anxiety and fear towards the audience which approach because of a frightening appearance or scary due to a posture, makeup, and aggressiveness during the performance, which can bring catharsis in public. It is interesting to note that the concept of performing arts is connected, at least from this point of view, with psychoanalysis, which is also nothing but relation, expression, elaboration, creation, and transformation. Next, we will talk about our third result, which is the metamorphosis of Plunturan village performing arts, artists, and audience. We believe that in performing, the performer of performing arts usually performs or undergoes a ritual of liberation as if through pain and contact with the people who watch it. They will be able to free themselves from their internal sensations. We do also believe that performers express their emotions through the search for transformational objects and the search for the first experience of contact with the existence of wild animals in the wilderness that the ancestor of this village community had experienced not as objects but as processes that changed their internal and their external settings. Next, we will explain our interpretations of our research results from our analysis of three cycles in which we divide Abramovich's work that we choose to investigate. We can see that he uses his space, symbols, materials, memories, and publics as elements to create his work. So our explanations about the first cycle is that in Plunturan, the elements of memory and life history of the ancestors opened up forest areas as potential villages for new meanings. Artistic support lies in gestures and feelings and pain in producing the experiences involved in works of art. The researcher interprets the sacrifice and pain they experience as a return to historical relationships with the aim of comforting and overcoming social and geographical problems, symbolically in search of freedom. The performing arts of Ponorogo and their dances in Plunturan village produce performances in partnership with Jogjakarta performers, mark the second cycle of Abramovich's theory. These performances deal with relationships with others as points of reflection, trust, friendship, intimacy, and commitment. Next, we finally arrive to the third cycle of performing arts in Plunturan. In this village, the performer value performance as a space for the proposed transformative experience. This is a phenomenon that attracts more than thousands of people during the 4 to 5 hours of shows that are simultaneously shown. The artists remain enthusiastic while the audience has the opportunity to reflect and even internalize the entire event that they have watched. That's all for our presentation. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask us. Thank you very much for the attention and have a good day.